So hello and welcome to an exclusive Crypto Insider interview. I'm Vlad. The person filming is Imbar, who is my colleague, and this is Yoni Assia from eToro. And in case you're not aware, eToro is one of the biggest cryptocurrency exchanges, even though you haven't heard of it. It started with stock market bonds and all sorts of investments and Forex. And then it dived into crypto and it added Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then I guess XRP was the third one.
Yeah.
And Ethereum Classic.
So we started with Ethereum, and then we added like XRP, Litecoin, Dash, and then with a split BCH.
Yeah, what I appreciate about eToro of all the exchanges is that you have very easy onboarding, even though you do the KYC, which I guess can take a few days. You can still buy coins with your credit card instantly. And that's very fast, it's seamless. Unlike Binance or some other exchanges which allow you to do the same operation, it's very fast. And I guess it used to be exclusive to Asia and Europe, but now you're running in
the US
North America, right?
So we come from the traditional finance world, where people trade stocks, commodities, indices, currencies. We started looking at crypto in 2010 when we bought the first Bitcoins for the company in 2011. And we started looking at tokenization of assets. We wrote with Vitalik Buterin the Colored Coins white paper in 2012 about how we use the Bitcoin network to tokenize basically traditional fiat currencies. This was a long time before people talked about tokenization. And then in 2014, we launched Bitcoin trading on the platform. We were the first and only regulated financial institution to actually offer crypto trading as well. And in 2017, we basically added Ethereum when it was about $7 to the platform, just before everything started. Whereas a firm, our focus has always been to open the global markets for everyone to trade and invest in a simple and transparent way. And that's why our user experience is a very simple user experience, where you can open an account in 5 minutes. In most places, by the way, you can get sort of KYC'd and verified within those same 5 minutes, and then you can deposit with a credit card and trade either stocks or cryptocurrencies within basically 10 minutes of when you open the account. And when we started adding more crypto assets to the platform, we basically found out to be the only company in the world who offers sort of immediate verification, immediate onboarding, and immediate credit card buying of crypto assets. And that really helped us to sort of scale throughout the crypto mania and the crypto rush.
Right, because I guess the best comparison, because our audience is mostly North American, is that you are like Robinhood but coming from Europe.
Yeah.
And now you're running your services also in North America. But what you offer differently from Robinhood, I guess, is what's it called? The following or the copying? Copying.
So eToro is the largest social trading network in the world. We have 10 million registered users, and all of them can actually see, follow, and automatically copy top traders in the network. So every person, you can actually see their profile, see their track record, and then decide to copy them, which is basically works under portfolio management. So when you copy someone, let's say with $1,000, it copies all of his positions into those $1,000, and every time he trades, it trades automatically in your account. And that's something that we've launched since 2011 and scaled it quite significantly in both Europe and Asia.
Also, what is different about your company, and I noticed, is that you have all the liquidity in fiat, and you can also short everything from gold to Zcash. There is nothing that you cannot short, which can be convenient in some phases of the market.
Right, so when you think about sort of traditional shorts in stocks, I had that recently because I tried to short a stock through my broker and couldn't get it. That it's not always available, and in most places around the world, if with your local bank, it's very hard to get shorts, and especially shorts to everything. And if you think about now shorts on crypto, that's extremely hard.
It is. I remember, which billionaire was it that criticized Bitcoin,
Bill
and
Gates,
Winklevoss brothers told him, why don't you short it?
So I don't know if there was another one, but Bill Gates said, like, if I could, I would have shorted Bitcoin. I invited him to do it easily on eToro.
Yeah, that's a great approach. That's a great way to tell critics, why don't you put your money where your mouth is?
Exactly.
So what's next for eToro? I noticed that you added lots of assets. You have added in the last few months EOS and then Tron and also Zcash.
Yeah. So we're looking at adding more assets into the eToro platform, but we're actually here today launching eToroX. eToroX is basically our crypto exchange. So today, eToro is a trading platform where you deposit fiat, you can buy cryptocurrencies, but you can't sort of exchange between them on the eToro trading platform. We launched about 6 months ago also the wallet, which enables you to move the assets from the trading platform into the wallet and therefore start basically using crypto as intended to buy or to send and receive. Mm-hmm. And now we're launching eToroX. We're launching it together with 8 stable coins that we're releasing on dollar, euro, yen, pound, Aussie dollar, etc. So what we're doing is we actually build a tokenization platform to enable us to gradually sort of tokenize more and more assets. On eToro, there's almost 2,000 different assets, right? Stocks, commodities, indices, currencies, etc. So we're tokenizing them as ERC20 tokens using our own technology, and then we're listing them on the exchange. So on eToroX, it's going to be the only exchange where you can trade, for example, Bitcoin versus 8 different stablecoins, and actually have the pricing, because we're taking pricing from the interbank market. We're connecting to 15 crypto exchanges to get the price of BTC USD, and then we're connecting to the interbank market to actually get the prices of all of the various fiat currencies, because we trade FX as well on eToro. So we're creating a much more sort of holistic view to be able to see both crypto assets and traditional financial assets that have been tokenized on the same platform.
So what you're telling me right now is that you can put your Bitcoin on eToro and you can get lots of fiat currencies with it, as well as commodities and stocks.
So commodities and stocks, that's later on this year. But to start with, you can actually convert your Bitcoin into 8 different stable coins and basically trade the different prices of Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP to those stable coins.
Yeah, that's fascinating. What kind of background verification do you have for the Bitcoins, for example? Let's say that, hypothetically speaking, I might have some Bitcoins from the Silk Road.
Yeah.
Can you get them on eToro?
Well, we do full KYC, so eToroX is regulated, and we're using the same techniques of sort of anti-money laundering analysis, both from the traditional financial worlds, but also using tools like chain analysis and others. So the answer is probably not. You'll probably find that sort of we'll have red alerts if the source of funds is suspicious. And we're constantly, by the way, investing a lot more resources and also thinking and innovation into basically how can you make sure that you're fully regulated and yet give the best user experience to your clients.
I was thinking about this because one of the issues with Bitcoin sometimes is fungibility, in the sense that you cannot have a coin which maybe dates from 2012 to be as well received as one which was mined in 2017. But I guess right now we have services like CoinJoin and Join Market, which allow you to mix outputs to make sure that...
But by the way, when you mix, I don't think it actually makes things necessarily better.
Okay,
but
go on. I personally don't know about how it works when you put mixed coins on exchanges, unregulated
it becomes
KYC,
it becomes more suspicious.
Even more suspicious than having one associated with the Silk Road?
No, less suspicious. You should not have ones associated with the Silk Road either, and work with regulated exchanges. But generally, like if you look at sort of regular coins and their history, it's relatively easy to see those who have sort of normal behavior, to those who someone is trying to sort of hide something. When you start using mixing services, it's a very good sign of somebody trying to hide something.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Wasabi Wallet. I think privacy is essential and it's part of why we got into crypto. But at the same time, I also understand the finance point of view and how you want to be cautious of investors.
Yeah, I think it's a fine line between being pragmatic and sort of enabling new types of technology, right? So, because we're regulated in the US and Europe and the UK and Australia, we learn a lot about why are the regulations there. A lot of times there's very good reasons for regulations to be where they are, but they don't necessarily enable the proper innovation, right? So the biggest example of that is asking people for utility bills, for proof of address. That's something very problematic because it's a very manual process, very manual verification. It's very hard to overcome it, but yet it's sort of the standard, right? On the other hand, when you think about sort of complete privacy, right, Monero type privacy, let's say it, or Mimblewimble type, then we also don't want to be in a world where people can transfer any type of money, any amount of money anywhere without anyone having any type of controls, right? So there's some sense to those financial controls that people want, to those sort of walls between private and non-private, and I think it's simply sort of different offerings.
Yeah, I usually regard it as back in the day when people started sending telegrams, they would be open, so the postman was able to read your telegram if you wanted to.
Interesting.
But then they started sending envelopes which would have a seal, and only the person who receives the envelope was able to open it and see what's inside. But at the same time, they had the metadata, so they knew who the sender was and who the recipient was.
Right.
And they could do that kind of background check and see if there's anything suspicious about the person. So I guess that's what the fine line is with metadata, just like WhatsApp, I guess. It's encrypted end to end, but they know to whom you're sending the message. So
Right.
they can find something suspicious and then they can use more advanced methods of decrypting your
I
communication.
think that's exactly where the fine line is. So I think you want to have a relatively good audit to understand what's going on, but people still need their privacy and the right to sort of make their own financial transactions without anybody knowing the content.
Right. I feel like I should get back to eToro and ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
Because when I was on eToro trading, I noticed that you get tagged a lot on posts. You and Annie Toro.
Yeah.
There's always somebody complaining about something and they tag you. And sometimes you respond. Do you spend a lot of time just checking your notifications to see what's going on?
Yeah, well, I'm quite active on the feed. So because on eToro people talk to one another, then sort of a lot of times people will tag me because they want to ask about something. So I try to be active and answer. Today there has been a lot of progress. So we have like people in each region, like the big regions, whether it's Spanish and Latin America, Germany, UK, Italy, etc. We have those sort of curated feeds and people answer there, but I'm always happy to talk to customers.
Yeah, I noticed. And you're open about your trades. And some people look at what you are buying and say, if you're bullish about something, then there has to be something you know.
Yeah, everybody can see that I'm trading a lot of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those are sort of my two biggest positions on the platform.
So after this exchange, what's next for eToro? Are you planning to provide any more services?
I think for us, eToroX is really the beginning of us going sort of more hardcore into blockchain technology. We also recently bought a company in Denmark that has helped us build our tokenization platform. And I think what we'll see in the next couple of years is us tokenizing a lot of types of assets, whether it's fiat or commodities or stocks or art or property, whether on our own or with partnerships. We want eventually to help tokenize the world and to create more free access to more type of assets globally.
Yeah, what's likable about eToro is that you get in very easily, but what's dislikable sometimes is the spreads. So if you're in the middle of a bull market, you pay about 5% premium to get
No,
into
that's
Bitcoin.
that's like 2017. Today
Okay.
it's like 0.75.
Really?
And on eToroX it's even lower. It's like 0.1.
So you are approaching it at a greater scale right now.
Yeah, so eToroX is targeted more for professional investors. You can compare it to sort of Coinbase Consumer and Coinbase Pro. eToroX is an exchange meant for people who are fine dealing with an order book, understanding how each trade impacts the order book, which I'm sure you are familiar with, where the eToro platform itself is one price fits all and everybody gets the same price.
Yeah, that's easy to understand.
Yeah.
And I guess you got good feedback from newbies who got into cryptocurrencies because of eToro. When I was in London at a conference last year, I noticed that you have a lot of advertising in the subway, the tube system, and also on taxis. So it's inescapable. In this sense, I guess you are the equivalent of Gemini trying to promote themselves in New York City, but you took over London.
Yeah.
Do you have any other cities in which you have such a prominent presence?
We're quite significant in the big cities in Europe. So it's London. In Germany, it's a bit more Berlin, Munich. In Italy, it's a bit of Milan and Rome. We're sponsoring also a football club, 7 in the UK, 1 in Germany, 1 in the Netherlands. So we do believe in connecting sort of the online and offline.
So you're telling me that there are football teams which wear T-shirts with the eToro logo?
No. We're sponsoring the digital part of the team, so not the shirts themselves.
But I look forward to that. We should get more crypto adoption through exchanges promoting easy onboarding.
Perfect.
So thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you very much, Vlad.
It was great.
Pleasure.